Hey guys, welcome to BellsRides. I'm Belle. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today is story time, and it's all about Scarlett and how she went to Harley heaven. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so in the last couple weeks or so, I created this wall art and I indicated that it was made out of what was left of my bike, Scarlett, and how she went to Harley heaven. Well, today's story is exactly that. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some great pictures of some awesome rides that we went on in the 6 months or so that I had her. She was an incredible bike. Put a lot of upgrades on her and had a lot of fun with her. This one here, we were going up through, let's see, Chester was the first night, and then we went to Mount Lassen and cut over the top part of California and drop down into the top part of Fort Bragg. That was such a fun trip with a bunch of friends and family. Well, actually mostly family, but we met some good friends along the way also. This one here is right after she got some Vance & Hines power duals. She used to sound like a sewing machine, which I just could not stand, and after I put those power duals on her, she sounded amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the chrome. I love the power duals on this bike. It was awesome. This one here, this one is the tutu ride. That was a fundraising ride that we went on to raise money for the Special Olympics. My son in this one is only, I think he's like 10 or 11 here. So he's been riding quite some time. Scarlett was a great bike. But I want to tell you now about the gory details of how she went to Harley heaven. My husband and I had a mommy and daddy weekend, planned to go to Tiburon Lodge in Tiburon, California. We took the long way around, which is quite bumpy and really a lot of bad patch jobs. We knew this going in, so we were going fairly slow. I wouldn't say more than 25 miles an hour. And I was in a turn and I was leaning pretty hard, and my running board hit a really bad patch job, which shot me into the wall, the cutout wall, and along the roadside. And as I was traveling down a V-ditch, I was shifting down trying to get her stopped, and right at the last second I hit some really soft sandy dirt, and my front wheel just turned to the left really hard, yanking the handlebars right out of my hands, and I went flying high side. That's where it all came apart for me. But before I did, as I was laying there on the ground being worked on, I looked over at Scarlett and knew she was gone. She was just mangled in so many places, and so that's how I ended up with just the saddlebag that you saw in the wall art. So I ended up in the hospital for 3 days. I had a severe bruising, deep tissue bruising on my hip. It wasn't broken, but what kept me in the hospital was the membrane that holds my lung to my ribs was torn, and I had 3 broken ribs. So that was their biggest concern with releasing me too soon. So I stayed in the hospital for 3 days, and then I was on a walker to help me get around for almost 6 weeks. So I would say that the injuries were quasi-extensive. The biggest thing for me was that I lost my bike. In this picture, I'm still on the walker, and that's probably 2 or 3 weeks into it. I was still on the walker and I had a great opportunity to get my next bike, so I jumped on it. And on this day, that's where we were heading to go get my new bike. And this is the new bike. This is Jewel. She was named after my mom. Jewel was an incredible bike as well, but I just have a soft spot for Scarlet. We had so much fun on that bike. I really, really miss her. So until next time, enjoy the ride.